Sweetheart, do you remember? You remember that time at the airport when the lady at the counter was like, please step aside?
Step aside. Step aside for what? Yeah, I do. And there we were on the floor rearranging all the crap in our luggage in order to avoid paying $250.
Oh my God. I remember being at the gate and pulling out my credit card at the gate to pay for some extra expenses. Oh my gosh.
But, here's what's really going on. The rules didn't change much. The enforcement did.
That's right. That's right.
They're paying very, very, very close attention now.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all know we be out in the international streets.
Right. Every security system, immigration procedure is different. All right. And what was true yesterday may not be true tomorrow.
Yep. And what we're seeing in 2026 is different. This is not just about travel in America. It seems to be about money, control, and access.
Yep. So put in the chat, what's the most you've ever paid in surprise fees at the airport? All right. Was it baggage? Was it for a seat? Last minute charges? Let's compare notes, because I'm telling you, it seems like this stuff is out of control. So we're going to talk about that and a lot more. So, but first, I want to know who's coming to the meetup in June. Who is coming to the meetup? And also, this Sunday is going to be our last public info session for the meetup. All right. It's going to be at noon Eastern time this Sunday. Check your email. I sent out information. If you're on our email list, you'll get the information. Okay. And so this Sunday, y'all, I need you to register, come with your questions and all of that stuff. Also, yours truly will be speaking at the Job Liberation Summit, right? Information for that is also in the description below, and I sent it out in the email. And of course, last Sunday we interviewed Dr. Kimani. So with all of that, hey y'all, my name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and life abroad. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight so that you can retire on time or maybe even abroad.
And early ain't bad either.
Early is definitely not bad. Now, today is Thursday, so today is our Thursday short, and today is a Legend Thursday. Where y'all at, legends? Legends, where y'all at? We expected you to be backstage so you can come on air and talk to us, right? All right, sweetie, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about the 2026 travel traps that can cost you a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Today we're breaking down the new 2026 travel fees costing you hundreds of dollars and what's actually changed versus what hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
Why airports feel different right now. And what are the roles of the TSA and ICE and DHS? And how to protect your money and your movement.
That's right. But first, if you're new to our channel, y'all might not know, all right? Back in 2018, Rick and I were getting close to retirement age. We looked at our money and it looked cray. It looked crazy, y'all. But we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. Okay. And we did that in 3 years. And if we can do that, y'all, you can do it too. Okay. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, what do we need you to do? Help a brother and sister out. We are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. So please subscribe, hit that notification bell twice so that you know every single time that we go live or drop a new video, and smash that like button. Okay. Smash that like button so that YouTube knows that this is information that needs to be shared with our community. Okay. We're going to get right into it. Let's see what you guys are talking about at the same time. All right. The big shift. Okay. So the biggest thing that we have noticed and that we have read about is enforcement, right? So it's not like the rules have changed necessarily in all ways, but it seems as though there's been a memo that's put out and that enforcement is going to increase. And it's probably, excuse me, because they want to try and make up for the gas prices for the pre-sold tickets, right? I don't know. But okay, so here's one of the thing about carry-ons, y'all. The carry-on size in America is different than the carry-on size in Europe.
In Europe, yeah.
Okay, I hope you guys know that. All right, and so one of the things that we found that happens more in Europe is they weigh your carry-ons. They don't just measure; they weigh. Okay, so we always, suggest that you guys travel with a scale.
Get your travel scale.
Right. We travel light, but still, like if you're trying to put a lot of stuff in your carry-on and stuff like that, because you're thinking, your checked bag, if you're going for a long trip, your checked bag can only be so many pounds, so many kilos. All right. Here in Europe, they will weigh your carry-on. Not every time, but they do. Now, here's the other thing. Because like I know Frontier Airlines they would be measuring your bag in a minute. Oh yeah. Not in the early days, but in the later days when it started to go downhill, they will but here's the thing, you guys know that your handle and your wheels are included in that whole measurement, right? And the measurement's like 22 by 14 by 9. That is a carry-on, but that's supposed to include the wheels and the handle. The whole thing's supposed to fit in that thing. Okay.
And that little tiny.
Right.
Teeny.
And if not, they will be asking you for money. So that's what happened to me. She was like, oh no, this don't fit. And I was like trying to, and I believe it would have fit above the thing, but it was like this much not fitting into that little metal container. And I had to get out my credit card right then and there. She had her little swipey machine and pay 100 euro, not dollar, euros to get a gate checked. Okay. That's the kind of stuff that be happening. All right.
So would you call that the basic economy trap?
It's kind of the basic economy trap, right? You look at those prices when you're talking about flying, right? And you look at the base price because I could get from here to Madrid for like $18. I'm on it, right? But here's the thing, and this is true here in Europe, and it is true in America as well. That don't include nothing. It might not even include your seatbelt, y'all. Okay. And so if you're doing a quick trip and you can manage just to have a personal item that can fit under the seat, you got that $19 fare. But if not, carry-ons are not included, right? Some airlines no, I don't even think the American ones allow carry-ons with the basic economy anymore. I think you've got to pay. Okay. See how they do? All right. You do not want to be the one finding out at the gate and pulling out your credit card like I had to do.
It can cost you anywhere from $40 to $100.
Yep. Easy. Or more, right? Especially if it's euros, because it's not dollar to euro.
And you ain't going to stand there and argue with them.
No.
And they know that.
And they know, right? Because as soon as they say you're disruptive, you don't want to get that disruptive stamp on your profile. All right. And then you'll be grounded. And then the other thing with these carry-ons, be careful. Now, I'm sure most of you guys know this, but I have heard about some people thinking that when those carry-ons that have an expansion where it goes out more, babies, once you expand it, it is now a checked bag, right? Because if expanded, it does not equal 22 by 14 by 9. It's no longer a carry-on, right? It's no longer a carry-on. Again, we do not want you to be surprised at the gate, right? So just one pair of extra shoes that you tried to squeeze in there and you unzip that stuff.
$75.
Right? $75 to bring them shoes. right? You ain't, you don't get caught out there like that. All right. Don't. All right. The other thing with these budget airlines, just be aware of all of the fees. Okay. Because see, here's the thing. It behooves you if you're going to have, um, a checked bag, right? You figure out you're going to have a checked bag. Do not check it at the gate or at the counter. Check it online. It's always going to be cheaper online. And if you wait until you get there and you've bought that ticket where a checked bag doesn't come with, it could be the difference between 25 bucks and 50 bucks. Yep. It could be double. Okay. It it can even be as high as 75 bucks, depending upon what airline it is, right?
Yeah.
Outlook babies. Okay. And then, of course, if you get to the gate, it could be as much as 100. I mean, round trip, that could end up being like a $400 mistake, y'all. A $400 mistake. Okay. You don't want to make that mistake. And they are really cracking down on the personal items, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Everything got to fit under the damn seat.
And the number of personal items. Okay. Fanny pack, that's a personal item. You try to hide it under your jacket or your coat or something like that. Okay. One of the things that I did when it was talking about weighing these carry-ons is like I would wear my heaviest stuff. I would wear my heaviest shoes. I would wear my heaviest jewelry and all of that stuff because they don't weigh you. So that's what I would do. But when it comes to these personal items, like I remember you had a backpack.
I have my backpack. I have my sling, which I carry my wallet and stuff in.
Right. The sling, it's like flat against his body. Like it's kind of like a side holster type of thing, right? I call it his purse. But it's like the new kind of fanny pack because it just, you know, and it fits flat too. They're like, oh, no. That's another item. That's 3 items. You cannot even get in the TSA lines in some of these airports if you have more than a carry-on and a personal item. And they're deeming fanny packs, like if you have a fanny pack and a purse, that's 2 items. Boom. That's it. Even though the fanny pack is staying on you. I know. All right. If it goes overhead, just remember, if it goes overhead, you're going to be charged. If it can go under the seat, you're good to go. Take your fanny pack, put it in your purse, put it in your bag, put it in your small duffel that's going to go under the seat, and that's a personal item. All right. Backpack now could equal a carry-on fee, depending upon how big it is. I know, right? See, we do have ways that you can lower the cost of travel. All right. Like we've got 2 house sits coming up, one up in Coimbra, which we're really looking forward to, and another one in France. So this is one of the ways that we lower our travel budget by having our accommodations be basically free. TSA confusion, y'all. I thought they were paying TSA. Didn't he say he was going to write a check and they were paying TSA now? So why is ICE still at the airports, y'all? Why is ICE still at the airports? That's what I want to know. But let's get back to TSA. All right. So the liquid rules still exist. The 3.4 ounces, whatever, right? That still exists. Some places, depending upon which kind of scanners they have, you no longer have to take it out of your bag. If you are a Utopian, please get TSA pre-check. If you're American, just get it. Just get it, because otherwise you're going to get hassled more than normal. And they hassle us in the pre-check, believe me, because pre-check does not equal
a smooth,
right? No,
it doesn't guarantee an easy way going, just smooth.
No. Exactly.
You can still be stopped.
Exactly. Now, as far as medications, the rules are that they do need to be in the original prescription bottles. Just know that. I'm not sure how much they're cracking down on that one, but and that's more of a domestic thing than a European thing. And as far as like Asia and South America and And Africa, I in the countries in Africa that we've been to, I couldn't tell you, babies. I couldn't tell you.
See, and here they don't use prescription bottles.
No, they don't.
They come in the original packaging that they are sent out by the manufacturer in. So they're not, because the pharmacists don't handle your prescriptions like they do in the States. So my thing is always, I always travel with the prescriptions,
The paper
the
prescription.
paper prescriptions that I was given to the doctor to go get them from the pharmacy. I always carry with copies of those.
And see, in America, you don't walk away with those, right? The pharmacist keeps
They
them.
keep them.
But here, the pharmacists don't keep them.
No, they hand them back to you.
Yeah. So see, these are the things that you will have to figure out before you travel. Okay, what the rules are about little things like this. If you've got the original bottles, just keep it in the original bottles. If you're not in America, and you've got prescription our ways, then I don't think you've got to worry. All right. But the problem is that they're not doing everything everywhere at every domestic airport, at every American airport, right? And so that's the thing, the inconsistencies, right?
Mhm.
The inconsistencies, that just leads to delays. It leads to stress because you don't know what to expect, because they don't know what they're doing, and they got all these people up in there trying to act like they got some power, trying to do some stuff, and all they're doing is making your life miserable and messing with folks' money. Like I'm thinking about like the vendors in the airport and stuff like that. If people are not relaxed, they're not going to want to go sit down at the local shops and stuff and do all of that stuff.
They'll sit on at the bar.
Well, maybe but see, if you've got 5 or 6 hour lines, that's messing with people's money, because now you're in line, you can't go shop. You could the duty free ain't getting no money, right? All right, let's talk about some international rules. The Real ID enforcement and the EU biometric entry system, okay? So I know here in Portugal, they almost got into some trouble because they were not on the right timetable when it came to the biometric entry system. And so here in the EU, every single EU country has the biometric entry system. I know that they're doing that at some of the airports in America, but I'm not sure if it is mandated. Okay. I want to say just about every single country that we have traveled to outside of America and Europe has required us, and maybe not Mexico because we're permanent residents, has required us to take a picture and give fingerprints or give fingerprints. Right. Okay. The ETIAS, that pre-entry administrative thing that you have to do to get into the EU, that's supposed to start at the end of 2026. The one for Britain has already started. So if you are gonna travel into London, and let me just bring this up right quick. When it comes to inexpensive travel, one of the ways that Rick and I save money is that sometimes it's a lot less expensive to travel to the major airport where you want to go and then take a little flight from that major airport to the smaller place, as opposed to trying to get a direct flight. Like trying to get a direct flight from LAX to Lisbon would probably more likely is more expensive than getting a flight from LA to London.
In London to Lisbon.
In London to Lisbon, or LA to Paris, and then Paris to Lisbon, right? So that's one thing. And then the other thing is when you travel and you've got the opportunity to take a lot of time, don't try to travel like, okay, I'm gonna go to Lisbon, then I'm gonna go to Thailand, and then I'm gonna go to South Africa, right? Pick a region and travel within that region. So if you're coming to Lisbon in June for our meetup, right? Spain is right there. England is right there. France is not that far away, right? So traveling Western Europe, even Italy is not that far, right? It was about a 3-hour flight, something like that. right? So this is the region, travel within this region, see as much as you can within this region, and then the next time go to another region and do that, right? That's how you also keep costs down, which is one of the reasons why we didn't go to Uruguay. Canada has stricter documentation now, right? So travel now requires more prep, and more prep could equal more costs. It could equal more costs. I don't know. What's ICE doing? I'm still talking about ICE, right? It feels like, what it feels like is a prelude to restricting our movement. What do you think? Let us know. If you're watching from the future, hey, all the future's great. I think ICE at the airports is about in the future restricting our movement. If we get used to seeing ICE there, right? And it's like the frogs in the boiling pot. Y'all do not get used to this shit. Do not get used to it. You saw Viktor Orban got his ass whooped, and so much so that they weren't even able to do any rigging or whatever have you that he was doing in the past. I mean, they had to show up and show out. And so I hope that this is a good sign, because the last thing we need, it's bad enough that because of the stupid stuff that the melon felon titty baby is doing, there are places that now are not safe for us to see. And that pisses me off. That makes me angry. I want to experience all of these other cultures. Rick wants to experience all of these other cultures.
Yeah.
And because the melon felon is doing stupid ass dementia-ridden shit, he has made some places unsafe for anyone.
Yeah, off limits.
And or unsafe for Americans. Right? DHS suggested pulling international processing from certain cities. That would effectively stop international flights, okay? And they have threatened this with sanctuary cities. They have threatened pulling the ability, giving their airports licenses to accept international flights. That would be San Francisco. That would be LA. That would be Chicago. That would be Denver. You see what that's what they are threatening right now. Okay. So I know we're talking about travel, but I'm going to say, call your senators, call your congressperson, and let them know that this is baloney, and that there is no way on God's green earth that DHS should be telling any city that they are not allowed to have an international airport.
Yeah.
What kind of nonsense is that?
They do not need to be controlling our movements.
Exactly. And so this is the thing, because travel is definitely a privilege. Travel is also power. Travel is also opportunity and choices and education, right? And the airlines, in order to relieve you of as much money as they can, right? They rely on you on confusion, right? They rely on you getting fatigued. Here's another pro tip. If you are planning a trip, it is best to be flexible with your dates. Okay. I hope that every single utopian does not have the kind of job where you only get to take off from this date to this date. Okay.
Right.
Because if you can be flexible with your dates, y'all, you can save hundreds. I was able to buy first class tickets from LA to London on a Tuesday with points, and only have to come up out of like $400, $500 for the two of us, all in. Had we left on Wednesday or Thursday, I would have had to come up with like $1,200. You see what I'm saying? So just being flexible with your days can save you tons of money. So don't just go to, United Airlines or British Airways and put in the dates and see what the price is and accept that. It's better if you go to a search engine like Google Flights or Kayak or something like that. As a matter of fact, it seems like we did a whole thing about secrets. I don't know, because there's another thing called Aero Seats and things like that. So there's all of these sites that will help you save money. But the
Yes.
easiest thing is just to go to a Google Flights. You can just put it in Google and put like LAX to Lisbon, for instance, right? And leave the dates flexible, 2 to 3 days either way on either end, and you'll see the difference in prices. Now I know half of you guys watching like, I know that. But there's a lot of you watching that did not know that.
Right.
All right. And they want you to be fatigued and feel like you have pressure, last minute pressures and stuff like that. Right. Gate fees versus online pricing. Always do it online ahead of time. Right. Meal vouchers versus real compensation. See, they think they're slick, especially when they be asking folks to volunteer to get bumped and stuff like that. Make sure that you're getting real compensation. Because, and then also keep in mind, especially when you're buying like British Airways or Air France, that if you are paying in pounds or if you are paying in euros, that you have calculated the conversion fees in your brain.
Yeah.
All right. And you realize what it is in dollars if your main currency is dollars, y'all. All right. Do that conversion, because you might be spending more money than you think you are.
Oh yeah.
You might be spending more money than you think you are. So just make sure you're not being trapped by, buying basic and then adding on. Measure your bag fully packed. Have a luggage scale. They're really inexpensive. You got our first one from Walmart years ago.
I get it from Walmart. I thought
That
about
was
it online.
years ago. I mean, like, I want to say 2017, 2018. If it's a carry-on, if you plan for your thing to be a carry-on, remember, do not expand that zipper. Do not, okay?
It could cost you.
Exactly. Use the ATM abroad. Don't go to those money exchange places. They're just going to charge you money. They exist there to charge you money. Always don't accept the conversion fees on your
Never
ATM.
accept conversion fees.
Do not accept conversion fees when you're doing credit card stuff as well. Right? Bring an empty water bottle. That's what I always do. Right?
Yeah.
I always bring an empty water bottle, and sometimes I'll bring those little packets like Crystal Light packet type things. Look, y'all, I'm the one who packs grandma's chicken in the bag, okay? I'm not trying to spend all of this money, because I'd rather see more places than spend a lot of money at the airport, on their food and all of that overpriced stuff, right? And then a lot of airports will have filtered water bottle fillers. And then, if you're part of Trusted House Sitters, we have a link in the description below. One of their levels come with access to the lounges, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've got certain credit cards that gives you access to lounges, you can fill up your bottles in there. And of course, I be filling up my purse with a couple of extra snacks from the lounge. Yeah, I do that. I'm the one who does that. I do that. Okay. So, if your bag gets busted and stuff like that, don't accept their first offer. Do not accept their first offer, because they should be keeping care of your stuff, taking care of your stuff. All right. So know the compensation rules in advance. Like, you can look them up on your phone as you're walking over to get it figured out. Here in Europe, if there's cancellations, the airline is compelled to put you up. Okay, to put you up. I think it might even be weather related as well. I know it's definitely for mechanical, but it might be weather related as well. Put you up, transport you. I remember when we were flying to Manchester and we had to get diverted because of weather. We got diverted to Leeds or Lyons or someplace. Not Lyons, that's France. Leeds, I don't know, someplace. Where are the Beatles from?
They're from
Liverpool. I think we got diverted to Liverpool, or maybe we're supposed to. I don't know. Anyway, they brought out the airlines brought charter buses out there to the airport because it was late. It was like midnight. Because by the time we got to our hotel, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then we had to meet the people we were house sitting for at like 7:38 because they had an earlier flight, not early flight, but earlier. And see, and that's another thing when you're house sitting, never try to arrive on the day of. Never. Because see what happened?
It happened.
Right? So because we planned to be there the day before, we had some wiggle room. When we did our house sit in Brussels, I think, yeah, we came in the day before and we stayed at a hotel. When we did our house sit in Spain, we actually went to another city nearby and stayed like 3 days, and then took the train up to the small town where we were doing the house sit. So yeah. Mm-hmm. These are some things, some pro tips that we needed to let you know about as we were thinking about them, right? Look, these airport changes, they're not for our convenience, y'all. They are to extract money from us. You know that, right? It's like more money, more money, more money, more money. That's what it's like, all right? But we want you to not feel like just because all of this is going on with the fuel and this and that there are not smart ways that we can still continue to travel and still continue to save money. So hopefully this will help you. And those who are coming out for the meetup, this will help you. So our meetup, as you know, is June 15th and June 16th, but the activities start the Thursday before. I think that's the 10th, June 10th, and go all the way through the next weekend with jazz concerts on Friday and on June 19th and June 20th. All week long, y'all. We gonna be partying. So if you can't come for the whole thing, you might have an opportunity to participate in part of it. So check it out. Go to the website. All of the information is in the description below, and we're going to have our final private information session on Zoom. All cameras on. Well, if you want to have your cameras on, we'll have our cameras on. And you can ask us questions and all of that good stuff, yes, right? We have a brand new ready to retire toolkit. If money is the thing that's keeping you. Sunday, you've got to join us because we're going to tell you how you can triple your savings overnight. Triple your retirement savings overnight. So you got to come back. Sunday, we go live at 3:30 Eastern time. If you are a Utopian channel member, then we get together to chitty chat about an hour before we go live, yes, right? Behind the scenes. So join us. Look on our YouTube channel under the post, Legends. Your link is always there to come visit us backstage and come on air with us. And then all members join us behind the scenes. We have over 200 members, y'all. Give yourself a hand and we thank you. We thank you so much for supporting us. We don't know what we would do without you. But what I want to know is we only be having like 30 to 40 people show up behind the scenes. Where y'all at?
Yeah, come on, join us.
Put it on your calendar for Sunday. 2:30 Eastern time, we get together behind the scenes, we chitty chat, people ask us questions, we talk about money, we talk about travel, we talk about all the things that we cannot say and some of the things that we can't say online, right? Right. So become a member and then you can hang out with us. The Move Abroad Toolkit is in the description below. If you're coming to our meetup and that's going to be your scouting trip, we have a scouting trip checklist. Half of this stuff is free, y'all. It's free. Okay. Go down and see about the free resources. We've got investing FAQ. Mm-hmm. All right. We've got a scouting trip checklist. We've got the Move Abroad Toolkit. We've got the Ready to Retire Toolkit, and we have a travel budget FAQ. Now, what you need? What do you need? And I think we did it, right?
I think
we did it. All right. I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday. right? Well, we'll tell you how to triple your savings overnight. All right, y'all. We'll see you.
Not a dream, a destination. Our Black Utopia.